For the last few months I've been testing this ultralight bivy tent from Big Sky International called the Wisp. It was provided to me by Bob and the team from Big Sky International, so I'd like to thank them for sharing the product with me so I could do a review on it. The Wisp is billed as an ultralight hiking tent. It's completely enclosed 20 bugs on mozzies, and it's without a doubt one of the lightest kits that I've ever used. It's made from a fabric called Supersil, and the one pole that does come with the kit is made from aluminium. Pack size dimensions, it's 39 centimeters long and 11.5 centimeters in diameter, and that's about 15.5 inches by 4.5 inches across. This kit only weighs 567 grams as well, so it's super light. There are a few options of setup that you can buy from Big Sky International, which will change both the weight and the price. I'll leave the links to the website and the product page on the YouTube video description so you can check them out for yourself. So let's go set this up and you can see the Wisp in action. The Wisp actually won a design award back in 2014 at the Asia Outdoor event for its design, so it does show that the product is of top quality and all the elements have been very well thought out. You can buy tent pegs and guy ropes with the kit as well. It's your call if you want to do this. I've always just sharpened lengths of wood for the pegs, and I've used my own guy ropes. The design of the bivy tent is a very simple one, and it's been a real treat using it. There's one very small pole in the core setup, and when the tent is upright, this sits at your feet. The pole can be removed though and stored elsewhere in your pack, which means the tent can be packed down even further. So if you can get an airtight bag, you can really make this a very small item for your pack. The main pole that sits towards the head end of the tent will be your hiking pole, or a strong, straight and clean stick that you can hopefully find in the bush when you're on the hike. And by cleaned I mean that it's had any rough points or sharp edges removed with your knife, so the stick is smooth and it's less likely to damage the material. The tent has a single wall and is for one person only. And the great thing about the design is that you do get a decent bit of covered vestibule space towards the head end, so you can pack your gear, your boots and things out of bad weather if you need to. The dimensions for the tent once the setup are as follows. The overall height is 120 centimeters, and that's about 47 inches. The width of the sleeping area at your head and your chest end is 100 centimeters, and that's 39 inches. And the overall length is 230 centimeters, which is about 91 inches. The vestibule area at max length is 75 centimeters, about 30 inches, by 155 centimeters, which is 61 inches. But the vestibule is a triangular shape, so you don't get all of that surface area available to you. But it is surprising how much space you do get. Okay, tent is up. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward to set up, pretty efficient as well. And I really like the idea of using one of your hiking poles as the actual pole for the tent. It's a nifty little idea. To keep your pack weight down, you can use natural materials for the stakes and for the pegs. So I've just used a couple of pieces of wood that I've sharpened the end on to hold and use as pegs. And as you can see from the inside here, it's pretty roomy. You can see there that, you know, for a little one-man bivy tent, it's a perfect little setup. You got a nice little bit of headroom there as well. The one thing I have found is that I've had to put an extra guy cord on this back bit here just to pull that out, because it does sag a little bit on the inside. I don't know if you can see that, but having an extra guy on that point there just opens the inner side of the tent up, so you do get a little bit more room. But really looking forward to having a sleep in this tonight. And in terms of size and what you get for what's in the package and things, I think it's fantastic. For just a little over 500 grams, you get a super lightweight and super quick pop-up bivy tent like this. I'm pretty impressed with it, so we'll see how we go sleeping tonight.
Good morning. I've just woken up. It is just after 6 in the morning. I just wanted to show you the inside of the tent just to see how much space you've got. You can get a feel for it, and also one of the issues that I have encountered with the tent. So I'll turn you around quickly. You can see I've got a fairly decent bit of space in the tent. It's a full length. There, my feet at the end. There's a little bit of extra space on the side here, around the back there. So it is full length. I'm 5'11", and it fits me just fine. nice and snug, it would be an issue, and definitely would be a very tight fit, if not a serious issue for anybody over 6 foot, I reckon. The other issue that I found is that there is a lot of condensation buildup on the inside of the tent. I'm not sure if you've seen that or not, but there's a lot of water, and that's just, I think, purely the problem of the fact that it's a one layer tent. There's no inner sheet and outer sheet, so yeah, it's pretty wet inside here, and I'm probably going to get a bit wet crawling out. But having said that, that's the only minor gripe I've got about it, is the fact that every single time I've used this tent, it doesn't vent very well. There's a vent up at the top there, and there's also a vent down at my feet. They don't seem to vent very well, unfortunately.
Okay, so my overall feedback on the Big Sky International Wisp bivy tent. As I've said, I've used it on a number of occasions now, and I'm really impressed with it. It's super easy to set up. The pack weight is really minimal, and you can really squash this down to a very small size, and putting that in your bag when you're on an ultralight hiking trip is phenomenal. I really like the simple design, and using one of your hiking poles for the main pole is a really clever idea. And I'm also really impressed with the amount of space you do get internally and externally with the vestibule as well. You can even sit upright and change clothes quite comfortably within the tent based on the width and the height of it, so it is quite good. It's fully enclosed with a good mesh. I've never once been bitten by anything that's sneaked in, and there's 2 good air vents at both ends to minimise the condensation that does build up. Which does lead me to the only negative that I have found for the Wisp, and that is the amount of condensation build up inside. Now on the Big Sky International website, it does say that the Wisp is best suited for low humidity areas. And I know that in Australia it does get quite humid, so we have to take this into consideration. My only gripe about the Wisp is that every morning whenever I've used the tent, I've woken up to the entire side of the tent being covered in condensation. I have a high metabolism, and I'm usually good at keeping warm, so that could be a factor as well. But it is a drawback when you're trying to move around inside the tent first thing in the morning. You try and get out of the tent, and you get hit with a big downpour of condensation. The other drawback is to that amount of condensation is that if you fall asleep with part of your kit touching the outside of the single wall, so it's your sleeping bag for example, or some of your clothes that you've taken off for bedtime, if they're touching the wall, then there's a good chance that they'll be really wet when you do wake up. So overall feedback, super impressed with the design, the size and the setup of the Wisp. Love the quality and the workmanship of the materials, and it's really surprising how much space you do get, and you do actually have internally and externally. Only negative is the condensation build-up inside. If you're after a super bivy tent, a super lightweight tent, and you don't mind the one wall design, then this is a perfect piece of kit for you. So my rating, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.